If I might make a comment, Mr. Chair, you know, the things that Alcalde and Fay do for us, I'm not sure that somebody locally working out of Ukiah could do in Washington. I mean, one of the biggest things that Alcalde and Fay help with us is complete the multiplicity of forms that have to be completed, that you really do need some insider information to be able to successfully complete. Every congressman and senator that you have to submit appropriation forms to has separate forms. Alcalde and Fay does that for us. And one of the biggest issues is they really are tied in to the timing of things. The board doesn't know this, but you know, right before the omnibus bill passed, the House passed legislation that included our microwave money. Paul Schlesinger was on the phone with me that morning saying, you need to get your letters out reminding the Senate that this money now has to be included in their bill. So it's about timing, and you know, Supervisor Pinch's, if I need Paul Schlesinger's time or his staff's time, there's never any question that it's given to me. But it really is an issue of timing, and if it's a person here in Ukiah that is not tied in to what is going on actually on Capitol Hill, I could see it would be very difficult for them to be monitoring and know when, you know, letters need to be sent. It's the same thing way at the state level. It is a matter of timing. You know, you have a bill coming up to a policy committee. You have a short window of when that committee meeting is announced to when the letter has to be sent. And in that case, we're depending on Don Peterson to give us guidance as well as monitoring tracking bills. But in Washington, it is a much more convoluted system. And we do need the assistance of somebody that's actually there on the ground who knows what our issues are and have helped us complete our forms and are watching these earmarks proceed through the system. It could have taken me probably 3 or 4 days if I was monitoring it on my own using the systems that are available out there to know that that bill had passed and that our earmark was in it. Otherwise, you know, then we wouldn't have been able to get the letters out on a timely basis, and the money that, you know, the $72,000 a year that we paid for these services, you can think of the return as the $500,000 that we're going to be presented a check tomorrow for the public safety microwave project. So, you know, I see the services that I receive from Alcalde and Fay as very valuable, and I would think it would be difficult for somebody at a local level to be that tied in to when legislation is moving on Capitol Hill, and knowing the people that are the staff members to the particular committees, and knowing and being able to say, hey, the timing is right, act now. I would have been, if I would have been monitoring locally, I probably would have, you know, at a minimum acted 5 to 7 days late. And, you know, like I said, in many businesses, timing is everything.
But on the other hand, if we had somebody locally, couldn't they interact better with our local congressman's office and our state assembly members person's office here in Ukiah and the state senator's office here?
Well,
I mean, at some point in time, it's looked like by going through these legislative advocates, we're in a way where we're bypassing our congressman and our state assembly member and state senator. It's because we're using the legislative advocate. Maybe we need to use their offices more.
I don't think that's the way it really works. I mean, the local representatives and the field reps have a multiplicity of constituents that they're serving. And their time resources is spread pretty thin. You know, I just know from Heidi Dickerson's point of view, she's covering a lot of issues. She's not just covering our issues. So she also, in a way, depends on our legislative advocate to be, you know, informing us of what's going on in Washington also, because she's covering a lot of different things for the congressman. So I don't know if that's a realistic expectation for those field representatives to be covering these issues to the extent that you might imagine. And on top of that, sometimes our interests might slightly different from the representatives that we're dealing with.
So what you're saying is our Congress member's office is getting their information from a lobbyist.
Well, yes, and I'll have to say that our assemblyman and senator depend on
the lobbyists.
on lobbyists for information also. I mean, I'm just being candid with the board and with the public that are listening, is that they do play a critical role in developing information for and providing information
But
to.
if Senator Obama gets elected, he said that